Hello everyone, Rascal Gaming here with part 2 of um games coming out on the other half the other half of 2026. Right, yeah. 2026. Yeah.
Part 2. Part 2. 1. I've been seeing this all X. So I'm posting it now. Yes, The Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake is still planned for release in 2026, with some insider reports pointing to a potential launch in mid-January 2026. Following a significant development reboot to improve visuals and gameplay, aiming to deliver a modern, faithful experience using Ubisoft Montreal's expertise. Official window: Ubisoft confirmed a 2026 release window during their June 2024 announcements. Insider speculation: reports suggest a precise target of January 16, 2026, placing it as a strategic early-year release for Ubisoft. Development reboot: after initial criticism in 2020, development was restarted with Ubisoft Montreal, known for Assassin's Creed, taking over to rebuild the game with new technology and a fresh vision, focusing on improved parkour, combat, and atmospheric visuals. Platforms: it's expected to launch on PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One. Marketing: a larger marketing push is anticipated, leveraging the recent success of other Prince of Persia titles like The Lost Crown. What to expect: a full remake capturing the original story and parkour feel, but updated with modern technology. Enhanced traversal physics, modernized combat, and richer environments. Redesigned character models and improved lighting for a deeper atmosphere. 2. Hack and Climb is a challenging, physics-based 2D platformer game by Kodachi Games where you play as a cursed axe climbing a mountain for revenge, using throws and precise movements to ascend through diverse, dangerous environments. It's known for its tough, fair gameplay, multiple unlockable weapons, and atmospheric art style, available on PC, Steam. Platform: PC. Platform: PC. Number of players: 1. Developer: Kodachi Games. Publisher: Kodachi Games. Genre: platforming. Platforming. Release date: January 20th, 2026. 3. MO Memories in Orbit is an upcoming 2D Metroidvania game where players control a small robot named Mio, exploring a massive, decaying spaceship called the Vessel to uncover its lost memories and secrets. Developed by Deus Ex, it features precision platforming, fast-paced combat, and a focus on atmosphere and identity, with a planned release on January 20th, 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, and Nintendo Switch. A demo is currently available, allowing players to experience the game's core mechanics and world. Gameplay and features. Genre: Metroidvania with action platforming elements. Protagonist: Mio, a nimble robot with special abilities like wall climbing and gliding. Objective: explore the interconnected world of the Vessel, revive its memories, and fight rogue machines. Combat: features over 30 enemy types and 15 bosses, requiring players to adapt their strategy and powers. Themes: explores consciousness, identity, and the blurred line between organic and artificial life. Release and availability. Release date: January 20th, 2026. Platforms: PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, and Nintendo Switch. Demo: a free demo is available on Steam and the Microsoft Store. 4. Silt is a surreal, monochrome, 2D puzzle adventure game where you play as a deep-sea diver exploring an underwater abyss to uncover mysteries. The core mechanic involves possessing various sea creatures to solve puzzles, overcome obstacles, and harness the power of giant Goliaths to awaken an ancient force. Developed by Spiral Circus and published by Fireshine Games, it's known for its unique, hand-drawn art style by artist Mr. Mead and was released in June 2022 for PC, Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. Gameplay and mechanics. Possession: you can possess nearby sea creatures to use their unique abilities, such as biting through obstacles or swimming faster. Puzzle solving: puzzles require using the abilities of different creatures in combination to progress through the environment. Exploration: discover strange organisms, ancient ruins, and machinery in the dark depths. Survival: encounter and survive encounters with giant, deep-sea creatures. Art and atmosphere. Monochrome art: the world is presented in a striking black and white, hand-drawn style. Surreal and eerie: the game has a surreal and often unsettling, horror-like atmosphere. Release and reception. Release date: June 1st, 2022. Platforms: PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S. Reception: praised for its art style and atmosphere, but some critics noted short length and a sparse checkpoint system. 5. Arknights. Enfield is an upcoming free-to-play 3D action RPG with base building and factory simulation elements, set in the Arknights universe, but on a new planet, Talos 2, with a new story. Players control squads of up to 4 characters in real-time combat, exploring a 3D world, discovering secrets, and building infrastructure. It is scheduled for a global launch on January 22nd, 2026, for PC, PlayStation 5, and mobile devices, iOS and Android. Gameplay. Gameplay. Genre: action RPG with base building and factory simulation. Combat: real-time, squad-based, up to 4 operators, with character skills, combos, and tactical deployment. Exploration: explore a 3D world on foot, similar to games like Genshin Impact. Building: construct mining and transportation infrastructure. Characters: collect new characters through story progression and a gacha system. Release and platforms. Release date: January 22nd, 2026, UTC. Platforms: PC, PlayStation 5, Android, and iOS. Cost: free to play with in-game purchases. Key features. Spin-off: a spin-off of the original Arknights tower defense game, set in the same universe, but with a new story and world. Protagonist: you play as the amnesiac leader of Enfield Industries, known as the Administrator. Development: developed by Hypergriff and published internationally by Griffline. 6. Dynasty Warriors Origins is a 2025 hack-and-slash RPG from Omega Force, available on PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC, with a Switch 2 version coming in 2026. That reinvents the series by focusing on a single, customizable, nameless hero in the Three Kingdoms era, featuring massive armies, tactical battles, and an RPG-style progression system. It's praised for modernizing the formula with improved graphics, a more in-depth story from a new perspective, and intense 1 versus 1,000 combat. Key features. Features. New protagonist. Play as a customizable, amnesiac hero instead of the usual legendary figures, experiencing the Three Kingdoms story from a fresh angle. Massive battles. Features the series' signature 1 versus 1,000 action with huge enemy armies and real-time tactical coordination with allied forces. RPG elements. Includes an overworld map, stats upgrades, and a progression system for your character. Modernized presentation. Offers a graphical facelift, with some reviews noting improved visuals and performance. Tactical depth. Blends large-scale warfare with more engaging one-on-one and boss encounters. Release and reception. Release date: January 17, 2025, PS5, Xbox Series X/S, PC. Platforms: PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, Windows PC, Steam. Upcoming: a Nintendo Switch 2 version is scheduled for January 22, 2026. Reception: generally positive reviews, with praise for reinventing the series while staying true to its core gameplay. 7. Steam. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is an enhanced version of the first part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, optimized for PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series XS, and Nintendo Switch 2, and includes the base game plus a new story episode Intermission, featuring the ninja Yuffie Kisaragi. It reimagines the Midgar section of the original game with expanded story, new characters, and gameplay, blending real-time action with strategic combat. Key features. Enhanced version. An upgraded version of the original Final Fantasy VII Remake, with improved graphics and performance for newer consoles. Episode Intermission. A new story arc where players control Yuffie Kisaragi as she infiltrates the Shinra building to steal powerful materia. Expanded story. The game covers the Midgar section of the original story, but adds significant new content, characters, and narrative depth, including the appearance of Whispers. Gameplay features a hybrid combat system that combines real-time action with tactical, command-based abilities. Platforms. Originally released for PS5, it is also available on Windows, Xbox Series XS, and coming to Nintendo Switch 2. What it is. It's the first installment in the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, which is a multi-part retelling of the original game. Intergrade is the specific title for the enhanced version that bundles the base game with the Yuffie DLC episode. 8. Hermit and Pig is a turn-based adventure RPG developed by Heavy Lunch Studio, scheduled for release on January 22, 2026, for PC and Mac via Steam. Game overview. Characters. Players control a reclusive hermit and his truffle-hunting pig who are pulled into a corporate conspiracy while foraging for a legendary mythical mushroom. Combat system. The game features an evolving turn-based system influenced by Paper Mario and Earthbound, where players weaponize social discomfort in battles against eccentric NPCs and corporate personnel. Key mechanics includes foraging for mushrooms, collecting trinkets, and navigating conversation battles that use Hermit's social anxiety as a mechanic. Visual style employs a quirky pixel art aesthetic that has been highlighted in indie showcases, such as the 6-1 Indie Showcase. Media coverage. Game Informer has included Hermit and Pig in its 2026 video game release schedule. The publication, which recently relaunched under new ownership, features upcoming releases and most anticipated games of 2026 in its latest magazine issues. Hermit and Pig is a breath of fresh air for turn-based RPG lovers, shaping up to be one of my most anticipated turn-based RPG games. 9. Escape from Ever After is an upcoming RPG inspired by Paper Mario, set to release on January 23, 2026, for PC and consoles, where fairy tale heroes fight corporate greed by infiltrating the Ever After Incorporated company from within, featuring turn-based combat, party customization, and exploration of storybook worlds. Players control Flint Buckler, who teams up with his former nemesis Tinder to take down the conglomerate that has taken over storybooks for profit. Gameplay and features. Genre: adventure RPG with turn-based combat. Inspiration: classic Paper Mario games. Combat: fast-paced, turn-based system with timed action commands and customizable skills/badges. Exploration: journey through unique storybook worlds with side quests, secrets, and environmental puzzles that utilize character abilities. Progression: climb the corporate ladder within Ever After Incorporated, complete office tasks, and decorate your office. Story: a humorous narrative where fairy tale characters fight against a real-world corporation that has commodified their worlds. Release information. Information. Release date: January 23, 2026. Platforms: PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and Nintendo Switch. Demo: a demo is available on Steam. 10. Highguard is a new, free-to-play PvP raid shooter from Wildlight Entertainment, a studio founded by former Apex Legends and Titanfall developers, set to release on January 26, 2026, for PC, Xbox Series XS, and PlayStation 5. Players take on the role of Wardens, arcane gunslingers who fight for control of a mythical continent by raiding enemy bases to capture and destroy an objective called the Shieldbreaker. The game is described as a new breed of shooter that combines elements of objective-based combat, destruction, and mounts, with a focus on structured, match-based gameplay. Key features. Genre: PvP raid shooter. Shooter. Developer: Wildlight Entertainment, ex-Apex Legends, Titanfall devs. Release date: January 26, 2026. Platforms: PC, Steam, Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5. Cost: free to play. Gameplay. Gameplay. Players are Wardens, arcane gunslingers. Objective-based combat, including raiding enemy bases. Fight for control of the Shieldbreaker. Features mounts, abilities, and destruction. Aims to be a more structured, match-based experience. Reception. The reveal at the Game Awards 2025 generated mixed to poor early reactions online, with some critics finding it derivative or uninspired, despite the pedigree of its developers. 11. Core Keeper is a top-down, sandbox survival game where players explore a procedurally generated underground world, mining resources, crafting tools, building bases, and fighting monsters, either solo or with up to 8 players online. The goal is to survive, uncover secrets, and ultimately power up the central core by defeating bosses and finding crystals, with progression driven by crafting, exploration, and skill leveling in areas like mining, combat, and farming. Farming. Gameplay mechanics. Exploration. Dig through a vast, procedurally generated underground world with different biomes, each with unique challenges, enemies, and resources. Mining and crafting. Mine for materials to craft better equipment, workstations, and structures, unlocking new crafting tiers. Base building. Create a home base, from a simple cottage to a complex mining center, using a variety of materials and decorations. Survival and progression. Level up skills, mining, combat, fishing, etc., through use, farm crops, cook food for buffs, and fish for resources. Combat. Fight cavernous creatures and defeat large bosses to progress and uncover the world's mysteries. Multiplayer. Seamlessly play solo or cooperatively with up to 8 players, allowing for specialization and teamwork. Key features. Sandbox Adventure offers a mix of adventure, homesteading, and exploration with a focus on player creativity. Creativity. Top-down perspective, a unique top-down view that influences base building, as you can't build upwards in the traditional sense. Minimalist story, a simple premise of being trapped underground and needing to escape, allowing players to focus on gameplay. Availability. Available on PC, Steam, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, and Nintendo Switch. 12. Dispatch is an episodic superhero adventure game from Ad Hoc Studio, developed by former Telltale Games writers, where you play as a dispatcher managing a team of reformed supervillains in Los Angeles, making choices that affect the story, relationships, and outcomes. The gameplay involves strategic deployment of heroes to crimes via a map, managing their stats and cooldowns, and navigating office drama and romance, with a hacking minigame as a diversion. It's praised for its strong writing, character development, and emotional depth, feeling like an interactive TV show. Gameplay and story. Role: you are Robert Robertson, a former superhero whose mech suit was destroyed, forcing him to work as a dispatcher for a team of ex-supervillains. Core Loop, send heroes to emergencies on a map, choosing the right hero for the job based on their skills and managing their cooldowns. Choices matter. Dialogue choices and decisions in the field impact relationships, allegiances, and the story's direction. Minigames includes a hacking minigame with quick-time events. Genre, a blend of adventure, strategy, and puzzle with a focus on narrative. Key features. Episodic, released in 8 episodes. Voice cast features an all-star cast including Aaron Paul, Laura Bailey, and Jeffrey Wright. Tone, a superhero workplace comedy with emotional depth, often compared to prestige TV. Romance, includes romance options with team members. Release and platforms. Developer/publisher, Ad Hoc Studio. Initial release, October 2025. Platforms, PlayStation 5, Windows, with Nintendo Switch ports in January 2026. 13. The Seven Deadly Sins. Origin is a free-to-play, open-world action RPG for PS5, PC, and mobile, set in the Seven Deadly Sins universe with a new story following Tristan, son of Meliodas and Elizabeth. Developed by Netmarble, it features real-time combat, character collection, and both single-player and co-op modes, with a planned release in early 2026. Key features. Genre, open-world action RPG with MMO and PvP elements. Story, an original storyline where players control Tristan to restore order to a chaotic Britannia. Gameplay, explore a vast world, collect heroes from the series, and engage in real-time combat with unique character abilities. Platforms, PlayStation 5, PC, Steam, Android, and iOS. Cost, free-to-play. Release, scheduled for January 28, 2026. Modes, single-player, online co-op, up to 4 players, and online PvP. 14. A cairn is a human-made pile or mound of stones used as a landmark, memorial, burial marker, or spiritual offering, originating from Scottish Gaelic for heap of stones, with uses spanning centuries for navigation, commemoration, and boundary marking. It also refers to various media, including a 2026 survival climber video game by the Game Bakers about scaling Mount Kami. As a structure. Purpose, marking trails, burial sites, especially Neolithic, boundary markers, or spiritual offerings. Appearance, often conical, built on high ground, varying from small piles to large monuments. Origin, derived from Scottish Gaelic cairn or Irish carn, meaning heap of stones. In media. Cairn, video game, a survival climber by the Game Bakers where players climb Mount Kami, managing stamina and resources. Cairn, tabletop RPG, a rules-light tabletop role-playing game, RPG, focused on adventure. Cairn Journal, an online journal for research in Scottish college education. Pronunciation, typically pronounced as Carn. 15. Don't Stop, Girlapop is a Y2K-inspired, fast-paced arena movement shooter for PC, developed by Funny Fin and Softworks and published by Quali, set to release on January 29, 2026. The core mechanic is that the faster you move, the more damage you deal and health you regain, combining classic boomer shooter elements with modern abilities like dashing and double jumping. Players customize their character and weapons with Y2K-themed cosmetics while fighting enemies to save their planet from an evil corporation. Gameplay and mechanics. Movement is key. Standing still is not an option. Speed directly increases damage and healing. Movement abilities features wave hopping, a mix of bunny hops, ground slams, dashes, and double jumps for high-speed traversal. Combat, fast-paced, with weapons that have alternate firing modes that synergize with each other. Customization, decorate arms and guns with Y2K, style fabrics and ornaments. Objective, fight enemies, like Ormic drones, to stop the mining company Tigris Nyx from draining the planet's love resource. Release and availability. Release date, January 29, 2026. Platform, PC via Steam. Demo. A demo is available on Steam for players to try before launch. 16. I Hate This Place is a horror comedy comic book series by Kyle Starks about two women, Trudy and Gabby, who inherit a haunted farmhouse, leading to bizarre and terrifying supernatural events. The Image comic series is known for its blend of humor and horror, with a 12-issue run that concludes the main story, and is praised by fans of similar titles like Gideon Falls. Creators. Written by Kyle Starks, with art by Artyom Trakhanov. Premise. Trudy and Gabby move into a farmhouse they inherited, only to discover it's infested with ghosts, monsters, and other supernatural threats. Genre. Horror comedy, blending scares with dark humor. Publisher. Image Comics. Series length. The main series consists of 12 issues, concluding the story. 17. Code Vein 2 is a Souls-like action RPG from Bandai Namco, set for release on January 30th, 2026, for PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC, featuring time travel mechanics, a new world, and a focus on single-player with AI partners, continuing the series' post-apocalyptic vampire theme with enhanced combat and exploration. Players control a revenant hunter who travels to the past with a time-manipulating girl named Lou to fight monsters called horrors and uncover the world's secrets. Key features. Release date, January 30th, 2026. Platforms, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, PC. Genre, Souls-like action RPG. Gameplay. Time travel. A new mechanic allows travel to the past to alter events. Combat. Intense, skill-based combat with a new build system for customizing weapons and skills. Partners. AI companions fight alongside you or can be assimilated for bonuses. Exploration. More open-world design with motorcycle traversal. Story. A new, reimagined world that retains the original's themes, but is not a direct continuation of the first game's ending. Multiplayer. This installment is single-player only, with no online co-op. 18. Front Mission 3. Remake is a modernized version of the classic tactical RPG, featuring updated graphics, smoother performance, and quality-of-life improvements, while retaining the original's two-storyline structure and deep mech customization. Developed by Megapixel Studio and published by Forever Entertainment, it launched on Nintendo Switch in June 2025 and is set to release on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC in January 2026, with a demo available now on all platforms. Reviews praise its engaging gameplay but note some visual oddities and performance issues in cutscenes, with mixed opinions on the story and art direction. Key features. 2 storylines. Play through 2 different narratives based on an early choice, following protagonists Kazuki and Ryogo as they uncover a global conspiracy. Tactical RPG combat. Command customizable Wanzers, mechs, in turn-based battles, with a focus on strategic depth. Modernized presentation. Features remade visuals, smoother animations, and quality-of-life updates, though some changes to the UI and art style have drawn criticism. New content. Includes a new mercenary mode with new maps and characters, and adds content from the DS version like the USN scenario. Release and availability. Nintendo Switch, released June 26, 2025. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, PC, releasing January 30th, 2026. Demo. A free demo is available now on all platforms. 19. The Ninth Charnel is a first-person psychological survival horror game where players, as scientist Michael, get stranded in a valley and must survive against cults, monsters, and their own fears while searching for missing colleagues. It features stealth, combat, resource management, and puzzles, with a focus on story and atmosphere, and is set to release on January 30th, 2026 for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS, with a demo available now on Steam. Gameplay and features. Genre: first-person psychological survival horror with stealth, combat, and exploration. Atmosphere: aims for a haunting, dread-filled experience with realistic graphics and an immersive soundtrack. Mechanics: includes resource management, weapon use, stealth, and puzzles. Story: a narrative-driven experience where choices impact the story, following Michael's search for his team after a research accident. Release information. Release date: January 30th, 2026. Platforms: PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. Demo: a free demo is currently available on Steam. That's all the games we know for this month for now.